Good morning, guys. I am geography faculty. Right, my name is Rameshs Geography, and I've been teaching geography from past 22 years. Okay, so we have come up with the digital board classrooms, guys, and the digital board online. Okay, so we are having the recorded videos on this digital board, right? And the geography which I have recorded, right? They have been put into my app called Rameshs Geography. Rameshs Geography. Yeah, you can download this from the Google Play, guys. Okay, Rameshs Geography, Google Play. Okay, yeah. So, what all the things I have explained in our the online materials, guys, right? So when we talk about the things what I have explained, right? The things what I have explained, right? They include the world geography, and the Indian geography. Okay, the world geography and the Indian geography is enough, right? It is sufficient for all the competitive examinations in our India, guys. From the civil service examinations to the bankings, right? To the SSCs, RRBs, or any of the state services, right? These two are more than enough for all the people who are preparing for any of the competitive examination, right? There is no necessity for you to go to any other textbooks or the materials. That's how I have prepared this world and Indian geography, guys. Right, in the world geography, right, I have started with, okay, in the world geography I have started with the introduction to the world. So introduction to the geography, introduction to the geography. Okay, then we have gone with the universe and space, right? In this we have done with the solar system total, solar system, right, in which we talked about the sun, right, what it is made up of, how many layers are there in the sun, right, and what is the time taken for the energy from the core to the periphery, right. Then we have talked about the planets, the dwarf planets, the satellites, right. Even the artificial satellites I have talked about, guys, and the satellites of the total planets and also the total dwarf planets, right. The meteors, right. The asteroids, right. The comets and the Earth origin theories, guys. I have talked about the Earth origin theories which are related to or the things like all the Earth origin theories which are very, very important, and also the origin of the universe theories, right. So they are all present in the second topic, that is called as universe and the space along with the solar system, right. And the third topic which I have started is the geography's geomorphology, guys. Okay, in this geomorphology, right, I have talked what the interior of the earth is, right, what are the earthquakes, what are the volcanoes, the folds, the faults, right, different types of landforms, right, the landforms which are like the aeolian landforms, the fluvial landforms, the pluvial landforms, the marine landforms, and the karst landforms, etc., right. Then we have talked about the continental drift theory, the plate tectonic theory, etc., in the geomorphology. Okay, then we have talked about the climatology, right? Climatology, right? So when we talk about the climatology, right? We have talked about the definition of the atmosphere, weather, the composition of the atmosphere, right? The structure of the atmosphere, the types of the clouds, the insolation, right? The uh, insolation, right? And the Earth's budget, heat budget, right? Then the precipitations, the types of precipitations, right? And also the different types of climates present in the world, right? Then we have talked about the oceanography. All these are detailedly explained, guys. Okay, all these are detailedly explained, right? The oceanography, we have talked about the ocean basin, its structure, interior structure of the ocean basin, that is called as hypsometry, right? Then the salinity, okay, and different zones of the light, okay, and then we have talked about the marine resources, okay, the corals, right, the tides, the tide origin theories, etc. in the oceanography, guys. Okay, then we have gone with the human geography, right, where we have talked about the human evolution. Okay, then we have went to the second part, that is called as the human geography within the world. We have human geography. Okay, there we have talked about the human evolution. Okay, then the races in India. Okay, then the demography, which includes the distribution of population on the surface of the earth, how the population has increased, right? What is the population densities of different continents, right? What is census, right? And the population theories like the Malthusian theory, Marxian theory, demographic transition theory, right? Then we have talked about the migrations, in that the Ravenstein's laws of migrations, Zelensky's mobility transition theory, Lee's model of migration, okay. And then we have talked about the economic geography. Different modes of productions we have started with, right, where we have explained how many types of economic activities are there, and in that agriculture, right, industries, mining, etc. has been explained in this economic geography, guys. In the agriculture, I have explained what are the conditions and the productivities, the yields, the major producers, minor producers, exporters of rice, wheat, tea, coffee, sugarcane, cotton, cattle, fishes, etc. guys. Then in the mining, we have talked about different methods of minings, right? And related to the minerals, I have talked about the iron, the coal, the petroleum, the diamonds, etc. guys. Then we went with the settlements, right? The human dwellings, the rural settlements, the urban settlements, the temporary settlements and the permanent settlements. And I have given the definitions for different urban settlements like cities, towns, suburbs, metros, megas, conurbations, accuminopolis, etc. guys. Then we have talked about the transportations. Guys, different modes of transportations. The land transportations, which includes the railways, roadways and the pipelines, then the air transportations and the water transportations, etc. These are the things which I have talked in the world geography, detailedly explained, guys, with diagrams and pictures. Not only diagrams, I have included good pictures taken from the net, etc. guys. Then in the Indian geography, okay, related to the Indian geography, introduction to India, guys. Introduction to India. Actually, from this introduction part only, several of the questions have been asked so far in many of the competitive examinations, guys. right? Nearly 25 to 30 questions have been asked from this introduction part, and I have given much more information from where nearly 50 more questions can be asked only from this introduction, guys. Then comes the relief features of India, which are also called as the physiographic divisions of India, guys. Right. So in this physiographic division, we are talking about the Himalayas, then the Great Plains, okay, the peninsular India, the coastal plains, then the islands in detail, each and every aspect, different mountains, their heights, where they are present, what are the passes present, right? What caused them to origin, how they have got originated, right? What are the constituents, etc. have been explained in the relief features. Then comes the climate of India. Okay, so I've explained the different seasons of our Indian climate, the monsoons, the arrival of the monsoons, the progress of the monsoons, right? The climatic classification of our India, etc. has been included into our climate, guys. Then the drainage. Okay, drainage, which includes the river systems. In that, I have explained about the Himalayan drainage systems, that Indus and its tributaries, the Ganges and its tributaries, the Brahmaputra and its tributaries, how they have originated, where they have originated, and where they are going and joining the oceans, etc. Right? And then comes the peninsular drainage systems. In that, the east flowing rivers and the west flowing rivers and the coastal streams have been explained, right? The Mahanadi, the Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, right, Narmada, Tapti, right, and several of the streams which are entering into the Arabian Sea from the Western Ghats has been explained, guys. Along with that, the inland drainage system, okay, also been explained in the drainage. Then comes the soils, right. So within the soils, the types of soils, what is the process by which the soils are been getting originated or created, right, the factors affecting, the factors influencing, right. Then the different types of soils, the classifications given by the ICR's SLUCI, right, Soil and Land Use Survey of India, right. Then the classification given by Marbut and the classification given by the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, guys. This is related to the soils. Then we have talked about the irrigation, right. The irrigation, right. We have talked why the irrigation is important for India, right, and how many types of irrigations are there. What is the canal irrigation, what is the tank irrigation, what is the well or the borewell irrigation, and then the intensity of irrigation, to what extent we are providing the irrigation facilities in different states, which state is having highest of the intensity of irrigation and which state is having lowest of the intensity of irrigation, which of the states where the underground waters are not used for agricultural operations, etc. Right? That is irrigation. Then we have talked about the agriculture. Okay, agriculture in India. All right. So when we talked about the agriculture, the salient features of agricultures, the problems of agricultures, the solution of agriculture, etc. has been dealt in the agricultural part, guys. Then comes the industries, or the industries. Right. In these industries, right, what are the industrial regions present in India, right? What are the mining belts present in India, right? Then the industrial zones, right? The major industrial zones and the minor industrial zones, right? 8 different types of major industries, 11 different types of minor industries, right? What are the corporations and the agencies which have been set up by the government of India to enhance our economic development in minings, etc. has been dealt in the industries. Okay. Then comes the settlements. Okay. In the settlements, we have talked about the rural settlements and the urban settlements, the forms of rural settlements, the types of rural settlements, the sizes of rural settlements, the criteria given for the rural settlements, the number of people or the numerical population living in the rural settlements, the percentage of population living in the rural settlements, and how many rural settlements are there in India, etc. guys. Then we talked about the urban settlements, right? The criteria defined by 1991 Census Commissioner has been taken into consideration, right? And then the classification of the urban settlements. Then we have talked about the problems which are associated with the urban settlements and the process of urbanization of settlements, urban settlements in India. Okay. Then we have talked about the infrastructure or the transportation, guys. Infrastructure or transportation. Okay, in this infrastructure or transportation, right, we have talked about the roadways, right, which were the first roadways built in India, right, what were the types of roads present in the Indus Valley civilization, right, then who has given the planning for the roadways development in India, what are the plans included, right, what is the recent Bharat Mala, right, what is NHAI, okay, and what the NHDP programs are, what the SARDPNE is, what is the density of the road network, right, etc. in the roadways. Then we have talked about the railways, the initiation of the railways, right, where the railways process has been initiated, where the railways started their operations first, okay, then the length of the railway network, okay, the route length and the route length, electrification, right, the rolling stocks, the toy trains, right, the UNESCO trains, right, and the platforms, etc. has been discussed related to the railways. Then we have talked about the pipelines, right, what are the pipelines present in India, who is maintaining that pipelines, right. Then we have talked about the air transportation, how the air transportation has begun in India, right, then how the Tatas have started their air transportation, then how the government of India has taken over nationalization of the air transportation has been done, right, and then the air transportation has been differentiated into Indian Airlines and Air India, then again taken over by the Tatas, right, and then we have talked about the other types of transportation, air transportations present in India, right, the services, private services and helicopter services, then the airports, 154 of the airports are present, what are that airports, for what purposes that airports are used, how many of the custom airports are present, etc. has been included into this air transportations, guys. Then comes the tourism, right. In the tourism, we have talked about how the, what is tourism, definition of the tourism, what was the initial tourism, what are the factors influencing the tourism, right, how the tourism is developed into industry, right, what are the places of tourist interest in India, etc. guys. All these things have been discussed with clear-cut examples, and wherever necessary, we have given the pictures, the photos of the different structures what we have discussed here, guys, right. So the world and India is totally discussed, which is required for your all the competitive examinations, guys, from civil services to the state services.